A lot of times it's best to unplug. When you try to be so attached to things and you think that you're this thing, you're not. Detach yourself from it and you'll see that it's just your ego. The ego is so cold, it convinced us that it exists.
Roll me, Mac.
How do you think the past events have shaped your current behavior? Well, the past events throughout my life and how I looked at it back then, it made me very, very aware, very defensive, very much a shield, very much did not trust a damn soul. It didn't matter if you were family, whatever. I don't trust you. I do not trust you. Life has shown me that the people that you believe are going to have your best interests absolutely did not. And with that, what you'll learn is to be more vigilant in trusting yourself. And I think that's really what how it's really shaped my current behavior. Because it's not for me. For a long time, I was blaming others for my life, how things went. And don't get me wrong, those individuals played their part in a lot of things, especially from an influential standpoint. But ultimately, it was the decisions that I was making that made all the difference. And I have no one to blame but myself, or not even blame, just take accountability for the actions that I've made, even if they were influenced or maybe even programmed to do. But to now make more sound decisions, to know that I have to trust me more than I trust anybody else. And essentially trust God in the universe. That's what it is for me. That's how it rolls for me. I trust God in the universe, and I trust myself to make the best sound decision for myself and not try to be programmed as I once allowed myself to be, because I felt like I had to work for love. I had to do this in order to get love. So let me do it this way, because this is the right way of living this life, versus me deciding the way I want to live my life. As long as it doesn't harm anybody, you know what I'm saying, in the process. But yeah, past events shape my current behavior out of, yes, because you don't know what is real. You almost have been it's almost like gaslighting, and not even knowing. You second guess yourself quite often. It's like being around I would say being around narcissistic behavior. You tend to second guess your way of thinking because of their manipulation tactics that they use on you, and also just being very mindful of what is, like, either it's the truth or it's nonsense. And I try to hone into that every day. and listening to let people talk, and I filter what they say and I decide if I agree with it. If I don't agree with it, and I just don't agree with it, it doesn't bother me. But if I agree with it and I find it to be the truth, then why also am I bothered by what the truth is? So it shaped my current behavior because I'm a lot more calm than I'll say that I used to be. I very much used to throw tantrums. I used to whine. I used to try to complain about life and why I'm not being heard, ready to scream. But I realized that I'm the only person that needs to hear me, to see me, to validate me. And once I realized that power, it didn't matter whether or not I got it externally, whether that be from family, whether that be from friends, whether that be from a young lady you're seeing, or co-workers, bosses. We're all on the same level in my mind. That's how I look at it. Yes, you might have a position over me, you may make more money than me, but you're still human at the end of the day. So you put on your pants just as much as I do to get to work. So I'm going to treat you with the same respect that I would want, and then I'm going to set the boundaries for those who do not know how to treat me, because I have to teach you how to treat me. And if I stay around for you to treat me just any kind of way, that's on me. I enabled you to treat me this way. But when I set the boundary for myself, now I still have my power. I still keep my power, and I don't interfere with your power that you have already in your body, your mind, your soul. I have boundaries set up. My boundary is so that you can enter into my realm. You know what I mean? If you can be around my frame and you're okay with, being in said frame, and I don't just mean that from a dating frame, but just how I operate as a person, as a spirit that is walking this earth. For you to operate around me, there's a certain criteria of behavior that I'm going to allow around it. Because I don't do the negative energy. I don't do the negative Nancy's. I avoid the unhappy and the unlucky, like my life depends upon it. Because negativity is contagious. So if you hang around 5 negative people, eventually you're going to rub off on what they're saying. But it's also the same reverse, and the opposite. If you hang around 5 positive people, you're going to be the 6th one to see the positivity. So I would rather have people who aren't necessarily avoid negative thoughts. They just manage them a hell of a lot better than what I was previously around, or even what I did as a person. I had to learn how to take what was done and not let that be my story. It was about changing my story so that I could be a better person, for myself, for my daughter, for my family, for whatever, everybody around me. I had to learn how to manage said emotions. And for a long time, I was running from myself. And when I say by myself, I mean I'm running from the decisions that I made or the decisions that I didn't make, and just trying to create new versions of me, but avoiding some unfinished business in my head. And so those past events, they caused a lot of pain, and we avoid pain. You think I don't want to go around you because I don't like you. Do you think you're taking it personally? I'm just avoiding the pain that I feel when I'm around you. I don't want to be around people that cause me pain, or their energy. The energy field that they have is, you feel it. You know what I'm saying? It's like you can feel a person's aura when they come with that draining ass energy, and you know that they're going to make everything about them. They have come to let you know that I don't feel heard. You must hear me. I don't feel seen. It's a shame. It's the worst. No one loves me. All of that shit. They come with everything that makes them look like a victim. They speak in victimhood. You know what I mean? They don't understand that they're the victor. They speak in victimhood. And there's only so much of that I'm willing to take around me for a certain amount of time. Conversations, and if I feel just like, if I believe in my spirit that you are totally just finding everything negative about life, I am going to remove you. I'm going to remove myself. And if it's in my power, I'm going to remove you too. So the past events, they helped shape me because I got to see what it was like on both sides. Being manipulated, being a manipulator. I've done both. You gotta swallow the frog.
you know what I'm saying? And just deal with the fact that, yep, this is what you did. It's just your turn. It's not a why me. This is happening for you because the God in the universe saw something you didn't. And it's saving you. Everything is happening for you. It's meant for you to learn from, not for you to dwell on for the rest of your life. And it took me so long to learn the lesson versus dwelling on what I believe I could have done or should have done. I'm not good enough. I'm the worst. I'll never be good as them. And all these negative thoughts that come in my head. But those past thoughts, once reshaped and rearranged in my mind, now I'm able to use it as a skillful tactic to have empathy, to have grace, to be calm, to teach others how to be calm around me, to not be frazzled by emotion as much as I can. Don't get me wrong, I'm human. I will, there's only so much, managing one can do because, he ain't through with me yet, as Steve Harvey once said. I'm still being crafted into the person I'm coming to be. And I look forward to becoming that person. But at this present moment, those past events, they have helped shape me into a very responsible rebel. I'll say that. I'm a responsible rebel. And I do the best that I can to do what's best for myself, do what's best for my peers, my tribe, but at a healthy limit, because I don't want to get caught up in the habit of people pleasing and trying to be there for everybody. But if indeed I'm in a space where one can help, like if I'm at the gym and I see somebody needs help with like a weight or something, here you go. Or if I'm working on a machine and I'm not using the one next to me, you in the gym, y'all know the gym games. You do it with your eyes. Using that? Oh, you good? Go. That type of thing. Is being helpful in those scenarios. If I actually have I don't say loose change. If I have money, a few dollars in my wallet, and I happen to come up to the stoplight, sometimes you'll see people who are in dire need more than you are. And you know what? There you go. Those things, and it's not for me, it's really just to point out the being there for somebody else, being part of something greater than yourself. You want to kill the ego. I saw a video one time. I was over B Rabbit's house, my boy in Spring Hill, and I was studying, of course, and I saw a video by this Asian cat, and he was talking about how do you kill the ego. You kill the ego by doing things for other people. Like when you start have ruminating thoughts about you're not good enough, do something for somebody else. And there is something that comes over you, and you stop thinking about yourself. You start doing for others, and it feels good. There is a selfish part of it. You definitely feel good being able to do something for somebody, but you very well could give inspiration and blessings to people who might not have thought anyone would ever stop, speak, whatever, recognize them. Those behaviors of everything I've gone through, of who I used to portray myself as, the traits that I used to have. I would try to be funny, try to be the center of attention, just attention-seeking behavior, and then realizing it's more about just being calm and casually doing stuff for others, if you're able to, but not people pleasing. Finding that healthy balance between doing a kind deed versus people pleasing. That's the difference between being kind and nice, is what I like to call that. I pride myself on not being a nice person. I'm a kind person now, but I'm not a nice person. I used to be a nice person. I was doing that with conditional love in mind. If I do this, then they'll do this for me. And when it didn't happen, I was upset at them, but I was actually upset at my expectations of them. They were themselves the entire time. I tried to change who they were for my own acceptance of life, but they were showing me who the fuck they were, and I refused to accept it. And I kept going back. I kept going back to the dry well, thinking I was going to be nourished, I was going to be hydrated, but they showed me that all they have to sell is sand. That's it. All they had to offer me was some damn sand sandwiches, goddammit, dry. They wanted me to do the cinnamon challenge, dry, motherfucker. You will not pass go. You will not collect $200. And at the time, it did feel painful because it wasn't what I wanted. But when I look back, I see what it helped me become in present day me. So I'm grateful for the things that I wanted to happen. I'm grateful for the things I didn't want to happen. It helped shape me to present day. So, past events, how they shaped me to present day, it taught me to be more aware. It taught me to practice unconditional love as much as I can. And it taught me to set healthier boundaries. It taught me that people are human. Every last one of us. Ain't no getting around it. You're not gonna have empathy and grace for people that's not your family, and then not talk or then not want to deal with your family because they hurt you. They're just as human. Those people that you gave grace to, they're somebody's mom, somebody's dad, somebody's uncle, aunt, the list goes on and on. It's challenging. I will not lie. It's definitely challenging because you have those old thoughts in your mind of this person's role in your life, but they're just human. They're just human. The roles change throughout life. Just because they were influential to you when you were 5 and 10 doesn't mean they are influential to you past 18, and that's okay. You learn from it. Everybody came into your life to teach you something. Nothing is permanent. Everything's temporary. This life we have is temporary. It's gonna go someday. We're gonna go someday. So enjoy this while it motherfucking lasts. What do you really think when a woman acts confident, shy, submissive? Let's go down all three of them. All right, when a woman acts confident, now confident is not that arrogance. There's a big difference in a woman that's being confident versus a woman that's being arrogant. Confidence is silent. Arrogance is very brash and loud. But I mean, it fake it till you make it in a lot of cases too. So I mean, I can see it from that perspective too. When I do see women that are like, yeah, I'm the baddest bitch and y'all can't see me, and loud about that shit. It's commonly by younger women tend to do that shit, and women that still haven't figured it out yet, getting into their older years, that still talk like that. But personally, I love a confident woman. I do. I really do. Truth be told, I love a non-confident woman too. But I love being able to bring out the greatness that is within her that I see, or at least attempt to. But yes, what I think about a woman that is confident, I really do believe that it comes from repetition of doing small things. As Jim Rohn has taught me, is like when you continuously do the small things, confidence builds. Whatever that little thing is, if it means waking up, listening to Proverbs, listening to motivational speeches, drinking water as soon as you wake up, using the bathroom as soon as you wake up, brushing your teeth as soon as you wake up. These little things that we do to start the day gets us going for the rest of the day. The first hour of the day sets you for the rest of the day. And what I love about like Jim Quick, he taught me to not check my phone, like in a sense of messages and stuff like that before, and not wait at least an hour before checking your phone. I want to step even further. Depending on what I work, I won't check my phone until like 1 o'clock, just so I can focus on me and studying and mindfulness and just trying to clear my head before I get into that mode of, all right, let me respond to this person, let me get this person what they want, this bam, like this, and it's just a habit that I don't believe we all realize that we do that. So I got off on a tangent, but back to, you know, a woman and her confidence. I mean, the little things that she does that helps build her confidence to where it is. And it takes believing in yourself when nobody else does. And I mean, don't get me wrong, it's nice to hear a person recognize your efforts and recognize that you're doing things, and that's cool, that's great. And might need a little pat on the back. But you gotta treat, you know, if you live for the cheers, you die by the booze. You gotta treat everything the same and just push forward anyway. Just take criticism as it is, whether that's constructive or deconstructive criticism. Take the criticism and figure out what you can use for it. So I love when I see a woman that owns the fact that she's a woman, that owns her femininity. Hell, even owns her masculinity, like on the job or being a parent. And or if she has to defend herself in a toxic situation that she got herself in. That to me, I love that. I have a respect for that. I am not totally against all masculine energy in a woman because she's human. And you have masculine energy, you have feminine energy, and it's all about when you use it. Where I get turned off with the shit is when you use the masculine energy in a space that's already has masculine energy in a sense of like a dating segue. You know what I mean? Like you're clearly around someone that you chose to have to do all the things that you really don't want to do, but you felt like you had to do. Now you have that space, and now you want to still try to do the same old shit of taking over everything. Yeah, I'm gonna let you have it, and then I'm leaving. That's my mentality on that. I'll sit and wait for it because that's just what the nature of our society has been. We as men have been taught to be more passive, you know what I'm saying? Or we're either very passive or too damn aggressive. And there's no in between, you know? But you can work at it and get that. But being in a society that has the super aggressive or super passive, it leaves women feeling like they have to do everything to pick up the pieces, you know? But when I fucking come along and I am displaying this calm sense of confidence, and I have definitely shown you that you don't have to, you know, stress, and you still decide to stress, there's a limited amount of time I'm going to use with that before I exit, you know, stage right. But I love a woman that's confident in her femininity. I love a woman that shows confidence on the job. You know, I love a woman that is confident in her abilities to help those around her, and confident enough to admit her faults, to say I'm sorry. Well, that's you know, fucking unicorns, right? Unicorn talk. But there are some women that will admit their faults. They will stand on it, especially if you make them feel safe enough that they can feel that way to say, I apologize about something, and you're not the type to kind of, you know, see, I told you so, point fingers. No, just address it so that we can move the fuck on. Heal, you know, it's revealed to heal process. All right, so what do I think about when a woman acts shy? I love it. I love that shit. I tear into that. Masculine energy, and shy make a very great sense of energy together. You know what I'm saying? Especially when it's not the kind that is going to take advantage of it. Maybe sexually, but not take advantage of the fact that, oh, this woman, you know, she's showing a shyness. She gets real giddy around you. She feels like a schoolgirl. She feels like you have a very strong sense of attraction around you, you know, and there's a level of appreciation for a woman who's bold enough to do that, because a lot of times, especially throughout my life, I can recall being around women that tried to act like they didn't like you. Fucking childish and immature shit, you know what I'm saying? But and in their defense, we were just as immature on the things that we were doing. But I know you guys remember those days when you act like you didn't like somebody and this girl keep hitting you in the class or on the bus, whatever it was, you know, like, no, I don't like him and his smile. I don't like him and his ears, or, you know what I'm saying, shit like that. But for a woman to embrace the fact that she is shy, And it's like, wow, there's this sense of safety and protection that I feel around you, that I am able to bring down a wall. Not all of them, God damn it, but a wall enough to be shy, to show attraction in another way. Not just the most typical way, but another way of being shy. So, I love that. I can respect a woman who's bold enough to do that, to show that she is shy, to have the courage to sit in her feminine, so that she can gel with the masculine energy. That's really all it's about. It's yin and yang, motherfucker. Yin to the yang. That's all it is in my mind. That's how I see it. But yes, a woman that is, what I think about a woman that is shy. I love it. I do. I really do love to see a woman to be shy, but it's also not tearing that woman down. Not tearing a woman down for being in her feminine. That's a rule. That's a rule I keep in my mind. I'm a rule breaker, but this is a rule that I keep. If she's going to be bold enough and have the courage enough to show me her femininity, I'm going to protect that shit. I promise you. I promise you I will. And ensure that you feel safe enough to do that, and that you don't feel torn down for that shit. Because I know a lot of women, and I said I fuck with a lot of women operating their masculine, but it's a lot of guys that be, a lot of people in general that like to tear you down for showing emotion, for being soft or whatever that is, you know what I'm saying? But everything we do is for love. So what the fuck? You want some hard love? You know what I'm saying? Like somebody acting all tough. Why you want to be with somebody who act like they don't want you? That shit weird. That shit weird for me. I don't want to say for everybody, but that's to me, that's weird for me to come off as for me to be around you and to show you like I don't necessarily care for you at all. I'm not saying I need to be smothering you, but a level of affection that you feel that shit. You feel that I want you. That I find you to be attractive. I want to get to know you and all these other things. You know what I'm saying? That goes along with it. And of course, what do I think about a woman who acts submissive? Yes, yeah. It goes without saying. It really does. It goes without saying. That woman that had the courage enough to submit to leadership, my leadership, I'm grateful, very grateful for that, because when you've done your fair share of dating and you go through, run through the ringer, and you come across women who it don't matter how much you show them that you know how to lead, they're not giving this shit up. It is tough what they've been through, and I send positive and healing energy to those women who really felt like they could not trust a man enough to lead. But for those women that drop their guard enough, not all the way, just enough to show, to submit to leadership and be led, God bless you. God bless you, women, for doing that. It sets an example for your peers, that's for sure. And you will reap the benefits of it. Honestly, if you come across a man and he's shown you that he has a sense of dominance with him, but he also shows you a sense of protection and soft energy in his masculine, that he will protect your ass, and ensure like he looks for the benefit of you. His whole being is about protecting you from yourself at that matter, as trying to be very emotionally in tune with you, very much in tune with emotional intelligence, and able to look at you and feel when your energy shifts, able to know when you might need just an extra hug today, or you might just need to sit in silence. Somebody gotta say shit. You don't even need to vent. You just need to sit with it. The best answer to anger is silence. So just to sit there and be listening to ocean waves, sit by the beach, not say a fucking thing. Whether that's sitting outside looking at the stars, hearing, nature, just listening to nature, not doing anything, or being there to sit and listen to you vent. But offering sound advice when you ask for it. Key is when you ask for it. And not so much just trying to solve the fucking problem, and which is a common mistake and miscommunication for us as men, because we love to fix shit. But a lot of times, some women just want to be heard. And there's a difference of wanting you to fix something versus you just listening to what the fuck I gotta say, you know? And we can learn from that. We definitely certainly can learn from that. And I try my damnedest to do so over the time, you know? And I used to definitely try to fix it. You say, well, the problem is you need it. Nope. Shut the fuck up and just listen, and then ask effective questions to show that you were listening to, you know, what the lady was saying, you know, and I don't just mean that somebody they could be like co-workers, and they want to vent, man, woman, whatever it is, being able just to listen, and I believe that's a skill that's helpful. So when you do show those skills, and then you have those women that just feel safe enough to submit to your leadership, it's a thing of beauty in my mind. And to me, I love that shit. I love that. There's nothing I won't do for the woman who will submit to said leadership. I will protect you at all costs. You know what I'm saying? That's just the nature. Especially if I have an affinity for you, if I have an attraction for you, if I have a love for you, I'm going to want to protect you. So maybe at some point and someday with my life, you know. But if I definitely do have a love for you, a liking for you, I'm going to want to protect you. I'm going to want you to be protected, to keep you safe, so that you can stay in your feminine and not have to do what nature has taught you to do. When it's not done, I'm going to do it and operate in your masculine. That, to me, is why I appreciate women who submit to said leadership and are comfortable with that submission, you know, that are okay with being submissive, even if it goes against what their masculine ass friends think. In their mind, you're like, fuck that shit. I love how I feel around this motherfucker. It's okay enough for me to drop a wall. Like, again, key terms, a wall, not all walls, but a wall, a guard, you know what I mean? There's so much that can be learned from that. But those are my thoughts about those three things. How has your definition of a good time changed? Well, when I was younger, a good time meant for me to be getting out of work at about probably 11, sometimes 12, and racing over to the Hard Rock in Fort Lauderdale, and just to, you know, be with the in crowd, to be where the baddest girls are, to be where, you know, the money makers are, and just to, you know, pay for overpriced drinks and listen to the same DJ set from, you know, the weekend previous or the last time that you came. That's, you know, that's what a good time was. It was about being in the scene, trying to be seen, trying to be validated, trying to do a whole bunch of things that didn't mean a fucking thing. And now a good time is silence. A good time is peace. A good time is healthy conversation. So, I mean, I love the evolution of what for me is a good time. It could be just being on the beach, reading books, and you know, having a couple drinks. It could be chilling with friends and just watching a movie or something. It's definitely matured more, and it's been great. Having great food, grilling is definitely a good time for me. I love that. I love to be able to grill, playing music, as well as watching something, having something playing on TV in my man cave while I'm doing that. But a good time is definitely matured over time from trying to be the center of attention and be validated and seen at the party versus just taking in some peace.
As a man, what are you thinking about when you go quiet?
Situation pending, but if I've gone quiet, I'm really brainstorming. I'm trying to come up with something, whether that is a money strategy for survival, whether that's practicing silence so that I don't say something that I don't necessarily mean. Try not to speak from my ego, but to speak from my soul. Because the soul just is, the ego is going to say something just to prove it's what it is. You know what I mean? The ego's steady trying to prove itself. The soul knows what it is. So a lot of times, especially now, I will refrain from speaking from anger. And as I said before, the best answer to anger is silence. So if I feel myself getting loaded with emotions, I have to remember that I'm not my emotions. They're just clouds passing through. You know what I'm saying? These are thoughts that are arising in me, and I think that it's real, but it's not really real. It's like being in a dream. And when you're in a dream, sometimes you feel like that shit is real. And but it's not. It's not real. It's detached from it. Detached from your thoughts. Remember that you're not your thoughts. You're the awareness behind your thought. That's who you are. You're the spirit driving the body. The spirit's holding up all this body, you know. And the more we understand that, the more we take heed to that, the better decisions that we can make. But when I do go silent, when I go quiet, I am thinking about a lot of things. I very well could be thinking about leaving the job. I could be thinking about leaving this relationship. I could be thinking about, is this for me? I'm thinking a lot of times, do I have more peace by myself than with this thing, this person? Is commonly the thoughts that go through my mind. I won't say all the time, but yeah, when I go silent, it's like, when I feel like I'm not valued, I stop talking around people I feel that do not value my voice. Yeah, I do. I will shut the fuck up. I will not speak. I will be cordial. I'm just not going to speak. And quiet, like in a social setting, I know how to mingle, you know. I'll need to be the most talkative person. I have to ask the most effective questions. And I pride myself on doing that. I love to be able to ask something that makes you think, even if I just met you, something that is, beneath the surface. I don't really want to ask you about your favorite food or, TV shows or, rudimentary shit. I want to know how the fuck you got to present day you in front of me, and not just in such a deep way that it causes you to back the fuck up. I'm going to ask it in a way that it just meshes into the conversation at that particular time. Don't get me wrong. I can indulge in some surface level conversation topics, but I prefer to tap beneath the surface to get to know you so that I can learn you. And every time you share something about you, you teach me how to love you, or more so, how to treat you. And that's what I love about asking people, their thoughts on things. Well, what do you believe? What do you feel about this? What do you believe this is, and all this stuff? It teaches me to know how you actually think. I don't need to tell you, unless you ask for it. It's not for me to make that situation about me, but more so for me to learn you. But when I just get back to being, like I said, when I'm quiet, I'm listening. And I pride myself on my listening abilities. Military taught me that. Working in my career field and working at certain jobs and certain job environments allows you to listen, very well on what a person has to say. So I try to listen. I try to listen to what one has to say, and then filter out what's being shared with me. If they're having a stance on something political, I listen with a filter. Is this person speaking from an emotional standpoint against the person they're talking about, or a particular like law that's passed and what have you? Because everybody's entitled to their opinion, but understand that it's just that, it's just an opinion. But tearing a person down to express your disapproval with how they carry themselves doesn't really help the scenario. You know, it's easy to say this, you know, this president sucks ass or what have you. But conversation is not going to go but so far unless I come in and say, yeah, they sucks and, you know, all this other shit. But we can have a mature adult conversation and more so try to come up with a solution, at least in our mind, for that conversation. We're not going to fucking, you know, Capitol Hill or nothing like that. But in our conversation, we can talk about what would be a better solution as to how things are going, you know, and getting everybody's take on it, and not shutting a person down, not dismissing a person just because we don't agree with them. You know, that's just me. But so yeah, sometimes when I go quiet, there's thinking involved, and then sometimes I'm trying to not think at all because I'm overthinking, and I've learned from a lot of my Jedis, a lot of my mentors in the manosphere and mental health and spirituality, to a lot of times it's best to unplug. When you try to be so attached to things and you think that you're this thing, you're not. Detach yourself from it and you'll see that it's just your ego. The ego is so cold, it convinces us that it exists. You know what I mean? Like you get so attached to something and you think that you are this thing and you're not. And like I'm an alpha male. You don't yell out to a beta male, but like, you know, I'm a beta male, yeah, you know. And you get so attached to this identity of who you are, you'll defend anything that threatens what you believe you are, your identity. I totally agree with that perspective. Is that we tend to, like, if we believe like we're a good mom, we feel the need to defend that. If somebody tries to say we're a bad mom or something like that, we'll defend. We'll say something. We feel the need to say something. But whether you agree with that person or not, the mom you are is the mom you are. There's nothing for you to defend. You know, as far as like, yeah, I'm a hard worker. Why are you trying to prove it that you're a hard worker? If this person doesn't believe that you're a hard worker, that's their belief. It has nothing to do with yours. That, you know, a person's disbelief in your abilities has nothing to do with your actual ability. And for a long time, I wanted to defend myself on a lot of things, you know, and some people were just trolling and some people was just trying to, you know, trying to get to me, trying to tear me down. And I had to learn to just be still. Let the soul speak for itself. Quiet the mind so that the soul can speak to you. And get rid of the ego. It's not important. What a person has to say about you is none of your business. That's their opinion. You know, you don't have to defend everything that is said about you. It's just letting go and minding your fucks that you give. Protecting your peace at all fucking times. And that's another thing with being quiet. You know, sometimes being quiet is just not responding to bullshit. Not responding to someone who feels whatever way about you. Not everything is reserved for you to respond to. You control what you give energy to. Everything needs nourishment to survive. So if I don't feed your thoughts, if I don't feed your words, then they die. You know, if I feed the thought in my mind that I'm no good, I'm horrible at this, I'm negative, guess what? It lives on. And then when I stop feeding those thoughts, they die, they wither. But if I've been programmed for so long to say something negative about myself, it's gonna live, it's gonna grow, you know, it's gonna continue to grow. But I am going to do my best to monitor the fucks I give and stand guard at the door of my mind, like, you know, the mentor Jim Rohn and his mentor Mr. Earl Shoaff, what he shared with him, and I love the way I feel when I hone in those ideologies on a day-to-day basis. But when I get quiet, most of the time I'm plotting. I'm being very strategic about what my next move is going to be. And you don't announce your moves. There's nothing for, you don't have to announce your moves. You can just make moves, because sometimes when people know what you're going to do, some people want to stop you from doing that. But to be strategic with your moves it becomes very helpful. Have a private life. Live a great life and tell no one. Remaining quiet on a lot of things. When you remain quiet on stuff, no one knows how to attack you. That person is talking about you sometimes because of the information that you gave them, and they took it and ran with it. But they wouldn't be able to talk about it if you didn't give it to them. And that's just something to accept. Anything we say out of our mouth can be used against us. And it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to come back to us the way that we delivered it. Some people will try to change your narrative. And be okay with being misunderstood. Truly be okay with being misunderstood. But anyway, that's my thoughts about me as a man when I go quiet. But we reached the end of this episode. Thank you again for sitting through all of this. Thank you for rocking with me this long with the show. And I hopefully it plants the seed in the mind of the person that is listening to this or watching this, wherever you are. But I'm Romy Mac, and I'm out. Good night, kids.